So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. Yeah, you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. Whoa. I can see, I can hear, going crazy for the light. It's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Get you out of my head. Everyone is watching me when I'm coming around. They all are judging me when I'm lying on the ground. I've got no shelter, I've got no escape. My life is a prison and I can't run away. I feel it in my bones. I'm losing it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Taking Over. I am OLED Ed Fries, and I'm joined by the one and only, the natural Astrid Pizarro. Astrid, how you doing tonight?
I'm so tired. This episode of NXT didn't help me at all. I'm sorry.
No.
How are you?
No. This episode really didn't help. For as many things that happened on this show, nothing happened on this show. Like, they're doing a double set of taping. So the show, as Astrid pointed out to me, was interesting. It was an hour behind. So the taping started at 7. The show went live at 8. And they were technically live to tape delay. It's I don't know how they did it. It's interesting, but good on them if they figured out a way to do it, because
No.
good for them. Right now, we are getting next week's show right now being filmed. They're an hour into next week's show. By the end of the show, we'll know exactly what happened next week. Not that we're going to tell you here. But we've got Jupiter Vision jumping in. Hello! Thank you for joining us. It's greatly appreciated. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone who is in the UK. As Barry says, it is technically Valentine's Day there. Thank you, Barry. We appreciate you spending the beginning of it with us. I mean, and we all know you're here for Astrid, but you know. And we got Sean Cena also saying hello. Hello, Sean Cena. He also says, looks at the live reports, got it wrong when they said Shotzi versus Lyra was going to happen on. No. Technically, yes, they got it wrong. It's going to happen tonight. It just wasn't going to happen on this episode of NXT. Let me see. I have the Fightful image from earlier. I don't believe I saw Lyra versus.
Yeah, they actually put on that. They advertised it for tonight, but they changed it for next week, technically.
Yeah, as a Fightful's rundown of what was going to be on NXT's card tonight, nothing that wasn't on that didn't go off. Everything that was on there correctly. I don't even remember seeing anything about this match between Lyra and Shotzi.
No, I don't.
I saw the tweets all week, but like I didn't see anything saying that they were going to wrestle tonight. They are going to wrestle next week, and thank God wrestlers ranting and attacking each other, and they'd have no matches next week. He's right. I mean, the entirety of the card for next week that was set up, with the exception of Lyra and Shotzi, who Shotzi came in and chalked her, as opposed to attacking her from behind. She chatted with her, and they set up a match. Well, Little Miss Roxanne here. Like, let's talk about Little Miss Roxanne. That lady needs Dr. Shelby, because she's about to have a Christian tantrum out there. In the middle of the ring, pounding her fist and kicking her feet. Like, did you see the pouty face that she made in Ava's office? Oh my God, Little Miss Girl just needs to grow up. I know she's only 19, 20 years old, but like, grow the fuck up, Roxanne. And I know you can't grow tall, so at least grow up.
Oh gosh. It's funny to think about, because I understand it happening like once or twice when her character like, changed into a little bit more aggressive. But like at this point, holy moly, how many people has she hit by now?
Literally, like, people are making jokes about it on Twitter that the NXT parking lot is now the NXT women's locker room. Whenever Roxanne walks in, somebody gets punched in the face.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm starting to get sick and tired of her, and I'm starting to want her on another show just so I don't have to see her every week.
No.
Because I'm done. I'm done with Roxanne. Done. Go away. Go away. Don't want you no more.
Yeah.
Yeah, as your provision says, I remember the NXT parking lot was the most dangerous spot in NXT. Speaking of being attacked in the locker room, while Noam Dar is got some cucumbers on his eyes and he's relaxing and Mensah's talking to him, in comes Robert Stone and Von Wagner. They attack him. They drag him out. The kids are there, and the kids said something, but I wasn't paying attention.
Sneak attack.
Oh, is that what it was?
I don't know, but I know that's what they were saying before.
But I do know that they were there saying something. I was still cleaning up dinner because NXT started a little earlier than I anticipated. Normally, the last few weeks we got like a nice little like telenovela video package at the beginning of NXT. So I thought I had like 2 more minutes, and I didn't. The match was fine. Robert Stone can still wrestle. Like, he's not great, but he never was. But he's still good enough. Like, he can still hang with some of these young guys. Von Wagner looks great tonight. Again, I know he's not much for an actor, but like his in-ring wrestling things have gotten better since he's been here. I mean, remember, he was in the main event of the first NXT 2.0 for the World Championship. And then there's this little known remembered thing. At one point, he was Adam Pearce's bodyguard.
Sure.
Remember that? When all of a sudden, when Ronda Rousey was around, Adam Pearce wrangled him to be his bodyguard. All right, Von Wagner acting again. Awesome. Yeah, he was the bodyguard for literally 1 week, and then he disappeared. Maybe Roxanne should visit the doctor with Alexa. I know everybody talks about the Alexa Bliss one because that's the most recent one, but I'm telling you, I really think they should just go back to Dr. Shelby.
Yeah, he's the most memorable one out of all of them.
Kane and Daniel Bryan did really great numbers with Dr. Shelby. I think Dr. Shelby would be fantastic. Bring him back there. What were your thoughts on this tag team match between Noam Dar and Mensah? Oro Mensah, yeah. You can tell how much I enjoyed this match.
I feel like, I don't know, it felt like for me, I don't know if it was the last couple of weeks, the openers felt like great choices because they hyped up the crowd in such a way and it gave you energy from the beginning. And it's like, I feel like this one kind of did, but not entirely, if that makes sense, because it was okay. But yeah, it was not something that I'm like, I would have opened with that either. You know what? It's just like, I'm like torn about it because it wasn't bad. But I know at the same time, like my energy today probably didn't help the fact that I didn't feel the match in itself the way it happened.
There was nothing on this show that could have opened the show and gave us energy.
Yeah.
But you had to main event with the main event because that's where it belongs. Maybe you open with Gacy versus Mello, but I feel like that was in a perfect slot at the top of hour 2. I think that was right where it needed to be. I mean, I wasn't going to open with Tatum and Lola. I wasn't going to open with Brinkley and Kiana. So, like, you were really left with no other option than opening with this. There were no in-ring segments that really felt important that you needed to talk about there. Barry Monkey says this match was better than I thought it would be. I agree. I thought, like, I rag on Metaphor a lot for good reason. They're awful, they're annoying, and they're heels, so they're doing their job. But at the same time, like, I'm annoyed, like, because I'm supposed to be. But at the same time, like, they're good wrestlers. They're capable in ring route talents. Noam Dar is who he is for a reason. So, yeah, the match was pretty good. Robert Stone, for all we've said about him, is a competent wrestler. Like, the Bromans were a good tag team in Impact when they were around for that. So it's like, it was fine. Von Wagner is the black hole of wrestling that he used to be. Like, he can have a decent wrestling match.
Yeah. I think to me it's just the fact that we're also tired of the metaphor stuff because it doesn't matter where you put it on the card, it always ends the same. It's always like towards the you might be enjoying the match, don't get me wrong, but like towards like the second half of the match, all of a sudden Jakara and Lash come in, and then the guys get the win, and then that's all we get, and there's nothing else to it. So at the same time, like, do I want to watch this again when I know what's gonna happen and how it's gonna end?
Barry Monkey is correcting me. Robbie E was not only a tag team champion, he was a TV champion and an X Division champion. That's way too many championships for Robert Stone, but that's besides the point.
Man,
Well, he wasn't that good. There are guys that there are guys in TNA that have less championships than that deserve more championships than that. But it's another discussion for another day and another show. We already have enough new shows coming between me and you. We'll announce another one in just a little while. Chase U is back. Chase U is back. They got the school back. They got the little Firefly Funhouse room back. They put the podium back for Andre, and he's hugging the podium. They gave Duke back his MVP trophy. I really think
yes.
I think the MVP trophy needs to go to JC Jane.
Yeah.
For pimping out the girls' locker room to go ahead and make the calendar, which I still haven't been able to order yet. Sucks. So if anybody wants to order it for me, that's fine. Go ahead and we can talk. Do things seem icy between JC and Thea this week? Thea talks about wanting to go over and talk to Riley, and
JC gave her the like.
Yeah, she didn't like that. And then in comes Adriana, and the segment immediately went downhill. What? Well, I've started to like a lot of the people in this roster. I really don't like Adriana.
I like her gear, but like her accent, I can't do the accent. I really can't.
She comes in. JC gave her more money than required because JC's trying to pay them off for a potential tag team match in the future. I don't think that's going to be a worthwhile investment for you, JC. Just going to say that now. Ridge Holland gets his Ridge Gauntlet taking on Wolfgang. This match ended in the picture-in-picture ad break. Well done, NXT. Even I missed it because I wasn't paying attention because I didn't think they'd end the first match of the Gauntlet in the picture-in-picture ad break.
No.
I was really hoping Andre Chase would have said who asked who won the Super Bowl and say he put 20,000 on the Niners. I don't know what the spread was, so he might have even won that. I don't know what the over-under was for the difference in the game. But then again, it was a touchdown, so I don't think it much matters. I don't think it was that break. Anyways, what are your thoughts on, we'll just cover the entire thing here because nothing out of the ordinary happened here.
No, it's just the fact that having JC had that reaction reminds me when you have that crush on somebody and you talk to your friend too much about them and they're annoyed with you already about talking too much about them. That's the vibe it gave me. And she's like, oh, she's gonna talk to him again. That part and the part with Adriana was like nothing really to it, so there's not much to say there. I can just say that I get annoyed with her accent, and when she does it too hard, I'm like, no. I don't like it. And that's coming from somebody who has an accent already. I don't like it. Yeah.
What about the Ridge versus Gallus triple threat or the Gauntlet?
I was laughing
about Gauntlet, as they called it.
I was laughing about that part because as I was taking notes, all of a sudden I see like Coffey come in, and I'm like, why is he coming in? And that's when like you said, that's when I realized that the match with Wolfgang was over, and I'm like, when did that happen? I don't understand why they would do anything like that. That just doesn't make sense to me. So I was super confused when it was like, oh, we're out to the next one? How? I don't know. That feels so odd.
And then then Joe Coffey attacked Ridge on the outside, which got Mark Coffey disqualified. And then Joe Coffey slid in, and the three of them stayed in the ring, and they tried to beat him down, and they brought in the chair. And then inevitably, because of course they did, they're all buffoons and they don't know how to swing a chair. So Ridge got the better of all three of them and beat them all down with chairs. To which the question was asked, and I quote, he's ruined all three of these men. Are they going to be able to get back at him? What has he done? He hit them with the steel chair a little bit. Mello did more to Trick Williams, and nobody acted like he put Trick Williams on the shelf forever.
Yeah.
The way this beatdown was reacted to by Vic Joseph on commentary, you would have thought he was gone for good.
No, not it just felt like, in the sense of like, how else is he gonna react? They literally just attacked him. Did you expect him not to do something about it? That's the that's the vibe that it gave me. Like, he wasn't kind of like supposed to attack him. I'm like, they attacked him first. It was like, what do you expect? This is the moment though that I was hoping like somebody would come in to even those odds, and like so we can get an answer. It's like how it'll be 3-on-3. And then I was like, I'm looking back and I feel like the John Travolta gif is like, crickets. Nobody's coming out.
Yeah, nobody was coming, nor should they, because this is awful. It needs to be moved on from. We've got Robert Stone getting teased by Lexus King about the fact that they lost. He's getting teased about the fact that Von Wagner keeps losing. The Gallus triple threat, Barry Monkey says the whole match was terrible and dull. I would agree. Yeah. Which is sad considering all three members of Gallus are actually really good. And for the most part, Rich Holland is too. And nothing. By the way, this show isn't going to be like us racing to finish it, but neither one of us have any notes for anything. And honestly, I have very little say about the show. So if we get to the hour mark, it's going to be a miracle.
Yes.
Lexus King pokes the bear, as I have written in my notes, with Robert Stone and Von Wagner. He teases Robert Stone about losing. He teases Robert Stone about Von always losing. He says, if you want to be a winner, go ahead and watch what I do next. And then he says something, tell your stupid kids or something like that. He makes fun of the kids to tell them to watch. And Von, at one point, the first time he brought up the kids, was like, hey, don't talk about them like that. The second time, he's just holding Stone back. He's like, no, he's not worth it. Just leave it be. When did Von Wagner become the voice of reason in this tag team? I don't like that. I want it back the way it's supposed to be. I want Stone to be the voice of reason for Von. The big monster should not be the voice of reason.
Miracles happen.
No, that's not a miracle. It's anything but a miracle. More importantly, the last thing I need is both Robert Stone and Lexus King on my TV screen at the same time.
No comment on that one.
The last thing I need is the three of them on my screen at the same time. Because you know that we're building to a match between Von Wagner and Lexus King for the custody of Robert Stone or something stupid like that. Like, it's not going to be good. I'm done giving NXT the benefit of the doubt on this stupid thing, because whatever dumb thing they can do with Von Wagner, they're going to do. We then get Lola versus Tatum, but first, we have the Candy Crew admiring the cup, petting the cup lovingly, talking about the cup. You hear Charlie talking about British rounds, and I'm like, finally, this is what we needed last week. The British guy talking about the heritage of British rounds wrestling and the Heritage Cup. This is good. I don't like the Candy Crew. I think they're dumb, but that's what I want if you're going to go that route. And then Damon Kemp starts piping up again, and I'm like, no, we've lost the plot again.
We were doing fine, and just...
And then Noam comes in, and he holds the cup back, and he tells them they can looky, but no touchy. And it sounds like he's a 10-year-old boy or 12-year-old boy on a date. And the father's like, no touchy. Like, and by the way, did you see the stickers tonight now that I pointed them out last week?
No, I was having dinner while I was having this, so like my screen was smaller. I gotta go back and look at it.
Barry Monkey does say, though, wise Von, the steps to the head did him good. I mean, he's not wrong, but at the same time, that's not nice. Again, he's fine. He's not actually injured. We can make a joke about this. Like, it'd be one thing if you were making a joke about, like, Wesley, who's legitimately injured and losing time. That's one thing we don't joke about, legitimate injuries. But when it's kayfabe injuries, it's on the table, right? We can joke about kayfabe injuries. Tell us about Lola versus Tatum.
I don't want to say it would. I don't want to say it was good because it was. I feel like it was okay. Again, we're seeing a little bit more from Lola with her kicks and her submissions. And I was like, "You're keep that going. You're going that the route that you're supposed to be going." I do like the way, like I pointed out to you, that reversal from Tatum at the beginning. I was like, I loved how that looked. Like visually, that looked incredible. And that split like elbow that she did too. I was like, I don't know who she's like studying recently, but she's doing a lot better what she's bringing to the table. I did like the fact that like during the match we get Lyra coming in and kind of like encouraging her at ringside. And there's like two moments that like Lola does like a kick or she hits her in such a way that she pins her, and you can see kind of him kind of looking at Lyra as she's getting pinned, and she's like, "Don't give up, don't give up," and she puts her foot on the ropes at one point as well. But I even like how when Lola puts a submission on Tatum, she puts it, and you can see that Tatum is still looking at Lyra, but what she ends up giving up, and she's like slowly um, coming out of it. But I just like I like that visual of her like looking at her and then just coming down as she's tapping out for the match to end. But I did like also having Lyra carry her out to the back, so when she has a championship on her shoulder too. I thought it was funny. It was like, yeah, take care of your friend. She's like, she's not my friend. I was like, are you sure? Are you sure?
It's sad when the most interesting parts of a Tatum Paxley versus Lola Vice match is the fact that Lyra Valkyria has now almost kind of sort of accepted that Tatum's her friend. I couldn't tell you hide nor hair anything that happened in like you're like she did this like the reversal with the I thought the reversal was talking about the move at the end with the submission. I don't know, you were talking about something else. I don't know this elbow spot that you're talking about. Don't know
No.
why. Hide nor hair what you're talking about. I could care less about any of it.
Whoa.
The only portion of this match that meant anything was the stuff between Lyra and Tatum. And the fact that when Tatum's quit, not only did she tap out, she spanked Lola.
Mark, when you clip this, let's clip the part that this is a Lola fan say he didn't pay attention to this Lola match.
Not even a little bit. Not even a little
Wow.
bit. By the way, I'm becoming less and less of a Lola fan as the weeks go on because she's less and less intriguing in the ring and more annoying in the ring. And not in a good way.
Took you long enough to notice.
Go away heat. She's officially got go away heat. I want her to go away and not come back.
I feel like
she's fine on my Instagram. That's where she stays.
Yes, I feel like she's progressing, but not in like the pace I like hope for somebody that has MMA experience, because she's doing better with like the kicks and the submissions and the strikes. And obviously, the only thing is like obviously her matches don't last too long, so it's like you don't get a lot of it. But she's doing better at it. It's just the fact that I wish we gotten this from the beginning since the breakout tournament, and it would have made me feel better about her winning it.
This should have been the starting point for Lola Vice, not the point where we are almost a year into this thing. But I did love the Tatum and the Lyra stuff. I'm going to go ahead and just skip to this, and we'll go back to the next segment when we get back to it. Lyra carries her back, and Shotzi's there waiting, and Shotzi requests that, she's like, hey, we've been talking about this on Twitter all week. I wanted to come here in person. Lyra's like, I like handling my shit in person. You can come on here. It's fine. And she's like, well, you know what I want? She's like, fine, you've got it. She's like, I'll go once I get done taking care of Tatum, I'll go ahead and get it cleared with Ava. And she's like, no, I already talked to Ava. All Ava needed to do was hear that you were good with it and you gave the go ahead. And I'm like, cool. I don't care about this match. I don't think it's going to be anything. Like, Shotzi's not going to win. Shotzi's like, I'm going to carry that title in the Elimination Chamber. I'm like, that's funny.
And the part that I hated about this is just the fact that why is this happening? Like, aside from the tweets and the back and forth, what's the reasoning behind this? It's like, it's so freaking random for her to come in, do the tweets, and then come back and say, yeah, I talked to Ava, I'm going to get a title match. But why, though? I was like, I like Shotzi, don't get me wrong. But It's just like, why is this happening? There's so many other girls that could have had like a one contenders match or something like that, and like build something up with one of the girls. But like, why are we having this again?
I think they needed something to piss off Roxanne so that she could pout a lot and,
But you
have
could
to
have used
see.
anybody in the roster, not just Shotzi, though. I don't
No,
know.
I think using Shotzi is good because you're not damaging any of your product by doing this. Plus, this gives Roxanne and Shotzi something to do on main roster when Roxanne, hopefully very, very soon, goes up to the main roster and gets off my TV screen.
No
How
lie
about
too.
how about this? We trade Roxanne for
Oh god.
Tiffany, and I can have Tiffany back. So we can have Tiffy time again.
Yeah.
Barry thinks that he has a horrible feeling Shotzi's going to win. I don't.
No, it's a tape show.
It's a tape show. I really don't think they're going to. They've learned not to do title changes at tape shows because the last time they did that, we didn't see Sangha and Veer for almost a year.
Yeah.
Barry Monkey also says that he hopes they never let Shotzi on commentary again. I can get behind that one. You know what? Some wrestlers are made for commentary. Some aren't. It's just the way it works. The segment I skipped was Luca, our man Luca. Nice to see him on TV. Backstage, and he's telling Tony, look, you got pressured into this. You don't have to do this. You don't have to take this match right away. And I'm like, did they though? Like, Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker wanted the match next week. They wanted to have this match. But Tony and them came out unprovoked. Like, they didn't have to come out and say yes. They sort of just did. Like, it's not they were, like, attacked and they were like, look, we're going to break Adriana's arm if you don't give us the match. Like, that would be coerced into having the match. They didn't do that. They just beat down other people.
They could have said no, too. They could have been like, no, we're champions. They're doing it when we want to because we're the champions. We call the shots. On the contrary, they just accepted it.
Yep. But he tells Luca, oh, okay, we got to focus, go ahead and go bye-bye. But there seems to be a little bit of thing going on here. And I'd be down for Tony and them going heel again and doing dastardly stuff and becoming a gang again and having Luca as their lawyer to get them out of stuff. Like, that could be fun. I'd be down for that. They then have a double promo for both their matches tonight, and I honestly couldn't care less because Adriana was here doing half the talking, and I really didn't want to listen to her.
Me neither.
I feel bad because, like I said, I don't like to crap on the women's stuff, but it's like anything with Rizzo just instantly makes me just not want to pay attention.
Yeah, it's the accent. You can tell it's a little bit too much. Like, we're used to, like, the way we talked about NXT, we're used to being like really authentic or like being in a way that it doesn't seem too far off for how people really are, like, themselves in real life. And this one is it's a little bit over the top, to be honest.
We then go into Rizzo versus Jaida Parker. It was fine.
It felt more.
It was fine.
Yeah, it felt like more like a showcase for Jaida because Jaida looked great, to be honest. It showed a lot of her, like, how strong she is, such a powerhouse in this too. It's like she looked amazing, and I love how the crowd was so behind her too. Like, the whole chance went for Jaida, nothing for Rizzo at all. But yeah, I love how she looked more than anything, and I'm glad she got the win at the end, and she got that endorsement from Carmelo on Twitter because of her match too. So I love it.
Carmelo better be careful on Twitter with who he's endorsing, or else his girlfriend might have an issue with that. Then again, I think his girlfriend's got more problems in the locker room to deal with than that.
No, I meant Carmella.
Oh, Carmella. I thought you said Carmelo, and I'm like,
no.
Carmelo's fine, but like he needs to pay attention to what his girlfriend's doing.
Carmella.
Okay. Speaking of Carmella, she is looking fantastic post baby. Did you see the pictures that her and Graves posted tonight? I mean, you know what? It's nice though. You know what I'm saying? It means that we can now have the conversation of, do we think we're going to see Carmella back in the ring soon? When you see her walking around in a dress, in that fantastic dress, back down to Carmella size, like, it's fine. Women give birth and they need to have time off. I get it. I'm not rushing her. But at the same time, it's like, God, this women's division needs something.
I
It
miss
needs
her.
a kick in the ass. She is fantastic, and I want her back.
Yeah, I would have enjoyed her and Chelsea Green, especially like at that moment when they were teaming before Carmelo left. I was like, that was golden, and I would have liked something more from that. I definitely miss her and Alexa, but I feel like Alexa feels more like I don't feel like she's gonna return. I don't know. I have that feeling of like, if she does return, it'll be something short to like probably end her contract and leave. But Carmela, I do see returning.
I think Alexa will be back. I think Alexa has a lot to prove, especially with the fact that she hasn't been able to get in the ring without Bray there. I think she's got unfinished business and stuff she wants to do. I don't see her not coming back, but I see her taking more time to enjoy being a mom. I mean, and here's the thing, Carmella, this is the first time Carmella's being a mom. But you got to remember, Carmella's been a stepmom for years now with Corey's kids. So it's not like this is brand new to her. Like having kids around, being a mom. These are things that she's been dealing with for years. Being with Corey, it's a different level when it's your own child, but it's along the same lines. It's not as new to her. She's back in general shape. So now the question is she going to be getting in ring shape? Can we see her back again? And God, WWE needs her back again. If I'm Triple H and I'm seeing these photos online, I'm texting Carmella and being like, hey, saw the photos. You look great. Do you want to go to the PC?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a bad idea. Like, Becky came back, what was it, 15 months?
Yeah, more or less.
She gave up the title just after WrestleMania. Her last match was at WrestleMania. And then she didn't wrestle between Mania and Money in the Bank, and then she gave up the title after Money in the Bank because she announced that she was pregnant. And then she was back the following year at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
That's about 15, 16 months.
Yeah.
I think Carmella's what, 4 months, I think, post-baby? So she's in that range where she's getting to that 15, 16-month mark. Ronda came back within 2 years.
Yeah, because they both of them gave birth in November. Different dates, but in November. I remember now.
Oh, what, Carmelo and Alexa?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's roughly 4 months. She's somewhere within 3 to 4 months. So she's at that 15-month mark. And as we all know from watching Love in WWE, because you all should have watched that, right? The doctor told Bianca at her age was probably around 18 months, and she'd be back in the ring. So we're starting to get to that point with Carmella, where she's at that point where now she's post-baby, she's back down to Carmella size. So it's what?
It sounds funny, Carmella size. No, it just sounds funny. Don't worry about it.
I feel like I'm trying to be nice. Like women.
No, you are. It just sounds funny when you say Carmella size, though. That's it.
She lost the baby weight. I'm trying not to say baby weight. Like I'm saying Carmella size because baby
that's
weight.
That's natural. Baby weight. That's
it has a negative connotation that all of a sudden she can't be she can be fine, but she's back to what she looked like before.
Yeah.
Which is the goal as a professional wrestler is probably you get closer to what you were before the baby than after the baby.
Yeah.
Like I'm sitting here, I'm going, why does she keep laughing? Like I'm not doing anything wrong. I've been very careful with this word choice.
You were. Good job.
Yeah. Speaking of things that I want to yell at NXT about, do not ever, and I mean ever again, do the fucking flip-de-doo with the camera when Joe Gacy comes to the ring. It made me want to puke. Before we get to that, because Barry's finally just popped in a comment. Mothers should be left to mothers as long as they want fully paid. I agree. Like I said, I'm not rushing her back. I think that WWE has the ability to message her and be like, hey, are you thinking about coming back? Do you want to go train? But I'm not saying, okay, she's been out for 16 months. Now she starts training again because she's under contract. No, she should continue making her money, paid leave, enjoy being a mom. And I think after a year of the baby being born, WWE gets the choice. You either come back or we can go ahead and cut your contract off. Because at that point, she's making a choice, and it's not necessarily like she has to be there or something like that. That sounds fair, right? It gives her 12 months to get around being a mom, figure out what they're doing. And of course, it can be case by case. If there's a rough pregnancy, a rough birth, maybe it's longer, maybe it's not. But those are conversations they can have. But like, I'm not sitting here and saying that they should rush her back. I'm just saying, based on the wrestlers we've seen in the past, recent past, Ronda, Becky, it's you hit that mark somewhere between 14 and 18 months. That's the point where you start seeing these women come back. And I think it's fair to start asking with Carmella, if she's in shape again, is she planning a potential return? And if she's not, more power to her. Keep giving her money. Keep pay Corey, half of her salary so the two of them make the money together. Like, I don't care. That I think there's an easy way to do this that, makes it fine for everybody involved. But like, I want to see Carmella back because there's a lack of talent. There's not a lack of talent. There's a lack of character on some of these shows for the women's divisions.
Ooh, she can team up with Bailey against Damage Control.
Baymella again?
Yes. I love that. Yeah. Make it happen, WWE, please.
By the way, Bailey, just so you know, you've seen what Tegan Nox has done to her friends. Do not trust this bitch. If you
Do not
need
trust
any
Dakota,
reason,
though.
that's what I'm saying. Do not trust this
Okay.
bitch. Did I say somebody else's name?
No, because you said Tegan, so I don't want people to think that you're talking about Tegan.
Oh. Well, don't trust her either, but definitely don't trust Dakota.
Yeah.
You saw what she did to Tegan is what I meant to say.
What she did to Raquel, too?
I'm less worried about what she did to Raquel and more worried about what she did to...
I don't know, but she did it. She's done it twice now. She could do it 3 times.
As Tom Colley, he was talked about, watch her hair. When all of a sudden the hair starts getting more a certain way, it means she's not... He's called it both times and she's done it. He's called it.
Yeah, that was on point.
But no, that War Games heel turn, that was her best friend. Yeah. Like, her best friend in the world, according to WWE. And she beat the ever-living shit out of her inside of a cage. Like,
I love my favorite part is, like, I knew it was going to happen. It just, the moment it still happened, it still shocked me the way it did.
Yeah. It was well done. Barry's right. Never trust any wrestler. All backstabbing sods. Yeah, just ask Izzy. By the way, Izzy deserved it too. Just so we're clear. Izzy deserved that. I'm so proud of Thunder Rosa. She's my wrestler of the week, by the way. Thunder Rosa. Just for absolutely turning on Izzy and slapping her. Thank God. It's about damn time somebody taught that little girl a lesson. That little girl's getting a free ride. I am sick of Izzy. Ever since she's been a kid, she's gotten a free ride through this whole wrestling thing because of the fact that she was on TV once because she was Bailey's big fan.
More than once.
Well, no, more than once, but you know what I'm saying. It's that one spot.
Yeah, I know I was there.
Yeah, you were behind them. You didn't get to see it as well as we did on television.
Yeah.
Melo versus Gacy. Your thoughts on Melo versus Gacy?
I mean, again, this was another one that it was like, it wasn't bad, but I just don't have anything to say, like, to highlight it, to be like, oh, that was amazing, and I want to see that again. It was more about the ending of having Dijak come in with a straight jacket and putting it on Gacy, and Gacy smiling, laughing as this is all happening still. And I like how Carmelo looked at the camera and he said, Ilya, like, I'm the last one left, as he left the ring before Dijak came in to put the straight jacket on Gacy. But the match in itself was like, there's nothing that I could say. I was like, oh, that was amazing. It was okay.
It was a good match. It was an alright TV match.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't have to go out and do anything crazy. They didn't do anything crazy. Carmelo just went out there and had a good match. Joe Gacy had a really good showing.
Yep.
Joe Gacy continuing to prove to us that he's a main event star if they ever just give him the opportunity. And again, whatever you do, NXT, do not do the fucking flip-de-doo with the camera. No, we're not doing that. Oh, Gacy's going to absolutely start wearing that jacket, that straight jacket.
Yes.
I don't think we're going to see Gacy wrestle again until Roadblock, and I think he's going to try to wrestle in the straight jacket. Because Dynamite put out a tweet, was it 1,000 people? If 1,000 people like this tweet, I'll let him out.
Was it more than that, I think?
Was it 100,000 or 10,000 or something?
I sent it to you. If this post gets 10,000 likes, I will free hashtag. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think Gacy's going to be in that straight jacket. I think that they're going to do a straight jacket match at the Roadblock, which will be fun. For those that haven't seen them, straight jacket matches are pretty fun and interesting. Now that we don't have chair shots to the head, they'll be a lot tamer and a lot more safe for the competitors, because Royal Rumble 1999 still turns my stomach. I think it's 99. It's the I Quit match between Mick Foley and The Rock. The Rock handcuffs Mick Foley's hands behind his back, and then just absolutely starts waylaying him with headshots with the chair. And it's just one after another, after another, after another, after another, after another. It's a sickening amount of chair shots to the head. And of course, Foley's sitting there smiling like Joe Gacy, telling him for more, because Mick Foley's a crazy son of a bitch. And I think it'll be good though. I think Dijak and Gacy will do something fun with the straight jacket. Because I think Gacy's going to end up getting the straight jacket on Dijak.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah. We then get Brinkley, Carmen, Petrovic, and Kalani backstage until they're interrupted by Lash and Jakara. And Lash makes a really annoying sound that I thought broke my TV, but my TV was okay, so I'm fine. And then she starts talking trash to Kalani about why she got picked by Kiana as like the person to pick. And Kalani has this great statement back where she's like, yeah, she probably didn't see you, and if she did think of you, she didn't think of you as anything worth talking about, so she just moved on. I was like, good job, Kalani, picking up the slack, taking it to Lash Legend.
Yeah, there's nothing more. The only part, and then she's called them like berry pickers. I think so. She called them at the end. Lash. I think.
Yeah, I know what she means. Like they're bottom of the barrel berry pickers. But I'm like, God, if that had gone any other way from any other wrestler in that segment, saying it to, if that had been Carmen or Brinkley saying that to Lash and Jakara, that would have been the end of the world. It would have been light the internet on fire, because it's a dumb cliche to use anyways, and it's as low-hanging fruit as the joke was meant to imply, that Kalani's just low-hanging fruit. And the joke is the same. Like, it's the worst possible joke you could make that's still okay to make. But at the end of the day, it doesn't make Lash look any better. It makes her look more stupid. But
to me, I had never heard of it like an insult like that first. So I was like, that was the first for me.
It just means low-hanging fruit. Like, they found low-hanging fruit.
But now I feel like it barely got a reaction from people, because I feel like people, I didn't understand it. I didn't think she said that. It took me a moment and like, oh, she actually said that, because I saw the people talking about it. I was like, okay, so I wonder if people thought the same thing of like, they didn't understand it at first, because the way she said it, I didn't think she said like was it berry pickers at first. So then I saw the stuff online, and then I realized she did say that then, and I was like, okay, then what does that even mean? So I was like, I'm not the only one who thought the same thing. It was like going through like that phase of like, what did she say? What did it mean? And I feel like at that moment, if you go back and hear it, I don't think the crowd really reacted to it, because I feel like people didn't know like how to react to that. And it just
It
felt so
means
random.
it means rural person, a country dweller. It's a bit of a racial slur depending on who you're talking to. There are particular groups of people who have made their livings off of picking berries, typically the Hispanic community. So it like Kalani doesn't fit any of that. Neither does Carmen. Neither does Brinkley, as far as I understand. So it makes this thing even dumber. But like, I get the idea of what Lash was trying to go for. I don't think I highly think it was improvised. I don't think any of them wrote that because it doesn't make any sense.
No.
It's just, but like I said, if it had gone the other way, oh my God, the internet would have exploded.
Yeah, I feel like in the end it didn't get the result that she was expecting, to be honest.
Speaking of, we're not getting the result that you expected. Poor Ren Sinclair in this segment as Roxanne comes back backstage, bitching and whining and moaning and complaining as she's been doing recently. It's the only thing she's doing well recently. To Ren, Ariana Grace, Gigi Dolan, and somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know
who
who that other person was. Ren speaks up about, I know what you're going for in there, and I know how you're feeling. And she goes, "You've been here how long? You don't understand what I'm feeling." Ren tries to talk to her again, and she just gets punched in the face by this angry little lady. Again, like, I'm telling you, I guarantee she loses that match to Ren next week. She's going to do the Christian tantrum in the middle of the ring.
I feel like that if she does lose to Ren though, I feel like that's when we should see some kind of turn for her and see her like become even more aggressive towards Ren right after the match in itself. And it's like the part that I don't get is like, okay, what's the end game here? Because at this point, timeline wise, I would have just put in the main roster after the Rumble and after she lost to Lyra. So it's like this happening right now. It's just timeline wise, it doesn't make sense to me. That's the only thing that I'm like, okay, after Ren, then what? Unless they're trying to like stretch this out to like give her that rematch towards one of the big shows, and then she goes. I don't know.
Unless the stand and deliver match is Roxanne versus Lyra 1-on-1,
Yeah,
which I think it's going to be. At this point, it kind of has to be.
that feels like the only clue right now.
But even then, it's like, if that was the case, if that's what you were heading, and again, this is all because of Cora Jade, like, and not in a mean way, but if Cora Jade doesn't get hurt, I don't think we still see Roxanne. I think Roxanne's on the main roster, even if she's not doing anything like Tiffany. She doesn't factor into Mania plans, so there's not going to be a whole big focus on her. But she'd be up on the main roster. She'd be getting signed to either Raw or SmackDown. I'm guessing she's going to Raw. SmackDown already picked up Naomi. SmackDown already picked up Tiffany Stratton. I think Raw is getting both Jade Cargill, and I think Raw is also going to get Roxanne Perez. Yeah. And I still think we're going to see Jade versus Bianca at Mania. I think that's where you build to for that one. I think unless the only other thing you could do, and I really hope they don't, because I don't think it'll be a good match if it's just the two of them. Because I don't think this other person's capable of running the match on her own with somebody as inexperienced. Yes, inexperienced as Jade Cargill, considering she was TBS champion for how many days. And I still look at her and go, "You're green as grass, girl." But Nia, I think that there's an instant built feud for Nia at Mania. But I don't think Nia's ready to lead that match, and I sure as hell know Jade isn't. Which is why I say Bianca's a better match. I think Bianca, the fans want Bianca more anyways. It gives Bianca a big stage at WrestleMania again, and she'll be a person who's, after 3 straight wins at WrestleMania, won't mind putting somebody else over at the big show.
Well, I was gonna say you can also put in the factor of like Charlotte's ahead of schedule with her injury as well, so you never know where she'll be factored in.
She's not coming back. She's not going to be back for Mania. I understand she's ahead of schedule. Ahead of schedule is great, but she's been gone 2 months, and it's a 6 to 8 month injury. I don't care how hard she works. She should not be at WrestleMania.
I think she, in her mind, she's like, "There's no way this is happening without me." That's how it feels.
I understand why she wants to be at WrestleMania. I hope that they've learned from Liv Morgan not to listen to the talent. Because they let Liv Morgan come back, and then she got hurt again. We then get the video package with the Bo Dallas writing, as I now call it. It's, if you haven't seen it, there's a video posted on Bo Dallas. I think it's Bo Dallas's Twitter page. It's, what is it? It's anonymous something, I think.
Yeah, I know Bobby sent it to us, but it was from the YouTube channel. I don't know. Yeah, kind of.
But it's obviously Bo Dallas talking. You can tell it's Bo Dallas talking, and it's using the exact same font in the exact same black background as these NXT promos. I don't think it's Bo Dallas. I'll just set it straight. But if you want to hear us talk about Bo Dallas, go ahead and check out the show we did last night on the YouTube side under the live tab, where you can go ahead and see us called on a new show called Talking Takeover. We talked all about NXT Arrival, which was the main event, was Bo Dallas versus Adrian Neville for the NXT Championship inside of a ladder match. Anyways, getting back to NXT tonight, goodness is a man's struggle.
Mm-hmm.
However, evil is just human nature.
And then Tatum, I don't know.
So I think there's a key here, and it leads in two directions. The three faces led everybody to Japanese, which makes sense. It's a Japanese proverb. You're probably talking about some kind of an Asian star. Somebody from the East is most likely going to be the talent here. Mm-hmm. In another chat that I was listening to, it was brought up on the Call of Unity during a spoiler warning. This could be one of the talent that we're getting in exchange for having sent Charlie Dempsey over to Japan. I forget what the promotion was. I think it's APW, I think it was called.
No, hold on.
But either way, I think this might be a return for that, and we might be getting one of their talents back in exchange for having sent Charlie Dempsey over there.
So it was HAPW.
HAPW.
Which is, I don't know if I can get the acronym somewhere.
All Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that is that one.
The other idea I still have, and I think it's interesting, they keynoted the word man's struggle. Goodness is a man's struggle. What if it's Julia? Like, if this goes on long enough, her contract supposedly ends in March. We all know Stardom's gone to fucking hell after now that what is his name? Roshi?
Yeah, Rosie. Yeah.
Has left. Rosie has left. Now that he's been let go from Stardom, Lord knows anything and everything can happen with that.
Yeah, Mel will correct us if we're wrong.
That's if she's still listening. There's no Eddie Thorpe on this show. She might have already left. But no, I still think this could be Julia. I think you can pan this out for another 6 to 8 weeks, and you can go ahead and debut Julia at Stand and Deliver. I think that's a big enough stage where you have Lyra defeat whoever for the women's championship, and she's standing in the ring holding the title up in the air, and then all of a sudden whatever music you're going to have for Julia hits, and you just have that woman just standing there, braids of her hair, just looking, and I'm like, boom, that's your stare down, that's your build, and I think you put Julia right to the top. I don't think we need to fuck with Julia at the bottom of this card. You put her right against Lyra, and you're like, oh, look, Julia, you're here. Here's the championship. It's nice and shiny. Please take it.
You tape a rocket to her back and just let it take off.
I want you to give her that title because I don't think she's long for NXT. She's there long enough to make sure her English is about as good as Asuka's, maybe about as good as Io's. And then she's right to the main roster.
Well, like even I thought about this, and even Mel confirmed it for me. She's actually English. She's not even like Asian, so she knows English. It's just a matter of, like, you know how it is with WWE. They want to teach people things their way, It's like we're
Yeah.
doing this way, that way with the cameras and stuff like that, which is something that they're not used to. So I think just a matter of like once they teach her like the basics of how the AB runs their programming, then is when she'll be out. So that's why I just like you, I think she won't be there for too long. If she does, it's
And
just to give her like that momentum for people to get to know her more than anything. And this, she's gone.
And it's not so much that her English is bad. Like I've listened to her cut promos in English. They're fine, but it's she's spoken in Japanese for a long time.
No,
She's been speaking primarily Japanese for a long time. Her English isn't great, and like it could use a little bit of. I saw it. So Barry Monkey, because of course we're Impact TNA fans. When I think of mysterious wrestlers coming from the East, Curry Man is coming to NXT. Christopher Daniels is wrestling Curry Man. My question is, who's in the Curry Man costume? Because Curry Man was a gimmick for Daniels, right? Like Daniel, I'm not mistaking myself here. Daniels was the one who played Curry Man in TNA for the first time around, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Speaking of people that I enjoy, Oba Femi came out to the ring. Oba Femi was fantastic. I adored this promo. It was great. He's the line of the night for me, from anything, from any portion of anybody. You can send whoever you want to wrestle me. That's fine. I don't care. Just don't send anybody that you want back.
And I love it though. My favorite part about like aside from the promo in itself is the fact that the crowd is like doing the chants behind him, like from I forgot how they go about it, but you can every time he stops talking, you can hear the crowd responding to him like right away. And I was like, this man has the crowd in the palm of his hands in such a way, like it just again it reminds me of like that kind of Joe Henry energy that I feel like a lot of people don't have, and like he has it in such a way that it's just unbelievable. My favorite part was when he says, "This throne is not the one you'll be sitting on anytime soon." I went, "Holy moly! There we go. That's a line."
Yeah, Lexus King comes out, which prompts the throne comment.
Yeah.
And I was happy because he says the line, "Don't send me anyone you don't want back." And then Lexus King came out. I'm like, "Yep, that makes sense. They don't want Lexus King back. That makes sense. They send him out here." But we talked about this. Me and you had talked about that the stand and deliver match for Oba Femi should be Lexus King. It gives Lexus King, who they want to push, a big match at stand and deliver, and it gives Oba Femi somebody to beat that feels like they're a big deal. Because there's nobody else who feels like a big deal that he could beat right now in that role. Like beating Axiom or beating Nathan doesn't feel like a big deal right now because of how often they've been getting beaten. We then get one of my favorite segments of the night from backstage. Briggs is talking to Dion Lennox and Javon Evans. Javon Evans is Jay Malachi from the indie scene, who was on Level Up, I believe it was last week.
Mm-hmm.
I think his episode aired last week. And he's already on NXT television tonight.
Uh-huh.
And they were talking about the big tag team title match. And then Jensen comes running up and he spouts a line. And he's like, "It took you a whole week to come up with that?" And then Jensen says, "Here's my balls." And I'm like, not something you want to yell out. That's not something you want to yell out, my dude.
Especially when there's other people around, because I saw Bear Hill was behind him too. So there's other people like around. Brooks was at.
Tavion Heights and Bear Hill were right behind Jensen when he says this.
Yeah, I think there were other people on the other side too.
Hank Tank.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they all start brawling. Ava comes running in and gets in between the two crowds of men. And she's like, "Look, if you want to do this out there. You don't do this back here." And I'm like, "Oh, apparently we're getting this match added to tonight's show." No, we're going to get it next week. Because again, to Ava, she doesn't know what the rhyme or reason for what's going to be on tonight's show versus what's going to be on next week's show. So she just does everything to set up for anything. But I do like that we're getting another vision of Javon Evans here, even if it's just backstage, putting him in front of our eyes. They're making us notice who he is. They want us to see him. So hopefully this means that we're going to see him on television sometime soon. You have any thoughts on this segment?
No, I just thought it was funny, like the way that Josh says it took a whole week to think about that, and it's like that just took me out. I didn't need anything else after that. It's like this is gonna be interesting next week.
Kiana versus Brinkley.
I want to hear your thoughts on this one.
The match was fine. It was nothing all that interesting. Kiana wins. Izzy cheated. It's fine. Would you want me to describe Izzy's attire?
You know you want to.
Izzy obviously spent the night with her boyfriend and just grabbed his shirt. Like, it's not that big a deal. Yes, that's not the person I used in our chat earlier, but it's fine. It's the same idea.
Yeah, I get you.
But no, like she's wearing a bra underneath, and she's got on a button-down shirt. I think it's a woman's shirt because of the fact that it's very sparkly and the fabric looks very soft,
shiny. Yeah,
and most men's fabrics don't look like that. I won't say all because I've seen men wear stuff like that, and it's fine. Yeah. Good for them if they can pull it off. But this looked like a women's shirt. Mm-hmm. I assume it's her own shirt, to be honest with you. Huh. But the way she had it, where it was like buttoned on like just the last two buttons and everything else is open. It's that, you know, the woman spends the night at the guy's house. She has nothing left to wear. So she goes ahead and puts on the dress shirt and she buttons like two buttons. Like, it's what it looked like to me. It's fine. Like,
on another note, though, I feel like Brinkley looked great in this match, though. I feel like it was a good, like, kind of introduction to what she's like in the ring. Kind of reminded me a little bit of how Kalani was when she first started. And I like her speed and agility in the match. So it's like I feel like it was a good like highlight to like show her off.
It was fine. I liked the segment they did later with her way more than anything they did with her in the match. Yeah. I think regardless what she did in this match, she won me over in just a few minutes with something we'll talk about in just a little bit. Mm-hmm. But like I said, the match was fine. There wasn't anything drastic to it. We get a segment with Ava where she says next week it'll be Briggs and Jensen, and then comes in storming a brick. And I almost thought Ava needed to watch herself because in comes Roxanne Perez. So you got to watch your face and make sure that you don't get punched. And she wants to talk to Ava, and Ava's like, no. Did you punch Ren Sinclair in the face? She's like, no. She's like, no, shut up. Did you punch Ren Sinclair in the face? She's like, yeah, I did. Her face was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And she's like, no, that's not how this works, Roxanne. That's not how any of this works. Yeah. She's like, you know what? You have a match with Ren Sinclair next week. And she's like, fine, make it. I don't care. She's like, and then once that's over, we can go ahead and deal with what I assume you want to deal with. And she's like, what do you mean? She's like, the women's championship picture. And she's like, mean. I swear, this is the exact face Roxanne made.
She looked funny when she made that face, though.
And then she walked away, and I'm like, petulant fucking child. Petulant fucking child.
Jeez.
We then get, like, again, what I said, I think made Brinkley feel so much bigger and more important than anything else. Blade and Nofe are backstage, and Blade's like, you know what? We should be there for her. We know how this feels to come back after a loss. You know, let's be there for her. She's going to be down in the dumps. And Nofe's like, who the fuck cares? Like, maybe this will teach her something. It'll show her what it's like to be us. Yeah. And I'm like, wow. Way to make yourself feel like nothing, dude. Like, literally. I know I don't take you seriously. You just told me I shouldn't take you seriously. Meanwhile, Malik Blade's like, no, we should be there for her. She's going to be crushed. It's bad. Brinkley comes in doing somersaults and cartwheels and shit. Like she's Jake Cartwheel on Ring of Honor. It's a plug for later. Anyways, she's super upbeat. She's like, you know what? No, that was great. You know, the person who said that everything is education is correct, or experience is the best education, something like that. I don't know. It was great. She was upbeat. She was happy. Blade's like, nobody's like, but aren't you upset? Aren't you angry? She's like, No. Why would I be upset? Why would I be angry? I got to go out there. I got a big rush for performing in front of the crowd. Now I'm going to go back here and I'm going to get ready for the next opportunity. And Onofe's like, dude, look at that. That's how we should be. And he's like, Brinkley. And he starts walking off. And that made her feel like a big deal to me.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. That was better than the match for me. Again, the one thing I'll constantly say about it is, good. Can you wrestle? Sure. You should be able to wrestle because Lord knows you've been here a while. I know you were injured for a while, but, you know, you've been at the PC for a while. You should have been able to pick up how to wrestle. In theory, anybody on television in a wrestling match should be able to have a good match. That should be the bare minimum for you being on my television screen, is you can have a good match. That should be the bare minimum of what I expect when somebody's on my television screen. Like, that's not an unfair expectation.
I know. I just think of the people that actually were on TV that don't give us any of that.
I understand. I'm just saying. Like,
It just makes me think of, like, you said that, and I thought, Aaliyah, Eva Marie.
Lash Legend. Hell, on this show, Von Wagner. Like, Von was good tonight, but...
Barry, put it on mute.
How many times have we come in here and talked about how bad of a match Von Wagner had? Like, Omos, for Christ's sake. Like, you should... The bare minimum for anybody having a wrestling match who's not a celebrity or a manager should be... That's unfair. Like, I don't like her wrestling style either, but she's a competent enough wrestler. She doesn't have chemistry with a lot of the wrestlers yet, and I think she has a lot to learn. I think she's green. But she can have a match. She can have a halfway decent match more often than not. Granted, I don't think she's shown it as much as she could, but I don't put Cora Jade in my list of can't have a quality match. Like, Gigi Dolan's the same thing. I know Gigi Dolan can have a great match. I haven't seen her have a great match since she's been a single star, but I know she can. Next week, Jensen versus Briggs. They had a fight tonight. Back to Barry's point. Roxanne versus Ren. They had a fight tonight. They have a match next week. Lyra versus Shotzi. They got involved earlier tonight. Verbally. A verbal fight. Sort of, kind of. It was a polite fight, but it was a verbal fight. Oba Femi and Lexis King. I forgot to mention that Lexis King almost got powerbombed by Oba Femi when he tried to hit Oba Femi with the coronation. That dumb son of a bitch. So those are our matches. 2 of those are title matches for next week. Yeah. I have a feeling neither championship is going to be changed on the taped show. No. And speaking of title changes, the Wolf Dogs are now the tag team champions. Baron Corbin, for the first time in 6 years. By the way, I don't know where the segment was, but at some point in here, Baron Corbin had a segment with Bron Breakker that I don't have in my notes that I just realized we didn't talk about. Baron promised Bron, if they win tonight, he'll for one time call them the Wolf Dogs.
So I have it before. I think it was before Carmelo and Gacy happened. It was kind of those like, but first, yeah.
Okay. I knew it was in there somewhere. I forgot about it. I knew I could bring it up here because we had the match, so I wasn't super worried. I thought this was a great match. I thought the family did a really good job here. Again, remarkable what the family can do when Adriana is nowhere around. Adriana is nowhere around them. I'd be happy if they gave. Oh my God! Could you imagine the family with Ariana Grace?
I mean, Stax is his girlfriend, so.
Is it really?
Yeah, Rihanna and Stax are dating.
Well, good for Stax, man. He's got some quality girl there.
Ariana Grace and Stax.
Man, that NXT locker room. Like, I titled the show "Lack of Love." There's no lack of love in that NXT locker room, man.
No, there's a lot of love in
they're humping like rabbits back there. They're humping like rabbits back there.
I mean, we'll have second generation stars at least.
She's a future star. Let's not call her a star just yet.
Not her, just mean in general, with all the love that we have on the PC.
Well, for her, it would be a third. If she has one, it's a third generation star.
Yeah. Yeah, but a lot of them are, I'm just saying in general, a lot of them will be second generation. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It was a good match, though. I really enjoyed this. I liked the fact that there was a couple times that Baron and Bron could have won the match, but they turned their back on the pin, and one of Stax or Tony got to get in there and get the pin, like break up the pin. I like that because they're not, as much as Baron's been a tag team guy throughout his career, and as much as Bron understands tag team wrestling, I like those little things that, like, in their head, they don't instinctively know to be there when the pin starts to happen to make sure that they hold up their end of the bargain. I like that occasionally they walked away and the pin got broken up because of it. Baron and Bron just work perfectly together. If WWE split them up when Bron goes to the main roster, they're idiots. It's happening. I guarantee you it's happening. I don't see them being a tag team on the main roster. I think Bron is going to Raw. I think Bron is going to take on Gunther. I think that's the match. I think Bron literally got handed Brock Lesnar's schedule and said, here, this is what you're doing for the next 2 months. I think this is not going to be a lengthy reign for them. I think he's headed to the main roster by himself. I think Baron Corbin sticks around in NXT. Because I think Baron Corbin makes a great gatekeeper in NXT. But it's nice to see him with some gold. It's nice to see him happy. But he's right. These two are perfect together because Baron has enough charisma to pull out something out of Bron. Unlike Von Wagner, Bron is not a charisma vacuum. He's not charismatic by himself for the most part, but he has charisma. He has the ability to be entertaining. He has the ability to cut a promo. He has the ability to act a little bit. Like, Bron Breakker is fine in all those spaces. He's not a star in that vein, but he's good. He's more his dad than he is his uncle when it comes to promo ability and charisma. His uncle was a charisma magnet. He oozed charisma. There's a reason why Steiner Math, regardless of the fact that it's wrong, there's a reason why Steiner Math is so loved by not Impact Wrestling fans, not TNA Wrestling fans. No, wrestling fans. End of story. Doesn't matter what kind of wrestling fan you are. You've undoubtedly at some point seen the Steiner Math promo. I guarantee you 133 1/3% of you have seen the Steiner Math promo.
Yes.
But Baron brings that little bit more out of Bron, and he makes him likable as a heel or as a face. He makes him somebody you want to watch on your television screen. And that's a good thing. Oh, no, Papa Smoke says I'm wrong, and it's only 33 1/3%. All right, Papa Smokes, I get it. It's only 33 1/3% charisma on Bron. Thank you for joining us, Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes, I can't wait to hear about your excitement over Taylor Swift's boyfriend winning the Super Bowl. I'm going to be watching Thursday night to see what's going on with that. Also, thank you for joining us. And if you don't, please make sure that you go ahead and catch Ring Respect Radio every Thursday right here on our local establishment as Papa Smokes and Bobby Munson do a fantastic show talking about MLW, talking about the old territory days, doing a wrestling trivia thing. Throughout the weeks, it's always a little bit different, but there's always something good in there to be done. Papa Smokes is a legend talking about those older days of independent wrestling, older days of territory wrestling. Papa Smokes would be happy to know that we were talking about Larry Zbyszko and Nick Bockwinkel on the Talking Takeover last night. He'd be excited about those names. We love you too, Papa Smokes. We love you too.
I can't do it. There you go.
But no, I thought this match was great. We have new tag team champions, and the show ends like that. The show ends with them standing in front of the new tag team champions, Tron. It was a good time. But the show lacked energy. The show lacked a bit of something. Maybe we lacked the energy, and the show didn't give us the energy we thought it would. But at the same time, we've talked multiple times about how sometimes NXT, even on our rough days, it gives you that energy. It makes you feel something. It pumps you full of something. And this week it didn't do that. Hopefully next week will be better. But again, it's a tape show. No real definitive ideas of how that's going to go. And then in 2 weeks, we're not going to have Astrid here. Astrid's going to be on location in Los Angeles, going ahead and checking out the Los Angeles area for hopefully another interview or something else that you can find. After looking for a pad in Hollywood, now that Taylor Swift's boyfriend won the Super Bowl, she has to go, get a bigger mansion with all the money she made betting on the Kansas City Chiefs. But Astrid, now that you got all that money, tell us where we can find you.
Where is all that money? Because I don't see it. No, I want to hear Papa Smoke's thoughts on Team Taylor winning the Super Bowl because that was Tim Taylor. Okay. No, other than that, you can find us, if you said Talking Takeover is on the YouTube. It's on OLE and it's on mine as well. It was fun to reflect back on the first show on the network at the time when we watched. And it feels weird to watch it so many years later. But other than that, you can find me on my Twitter's Blue Skies Astrid Pizarro. And then Threads and Instagrams, Astrid Pizarro 20. And then everything else on my YouTube channels you can see there. We have talked about the merch. You want your calendar, go get it with the link, with the link to the shop that we have. I'm trying to find it real quick. That one. Now the other one. That one. And then if anything, you can find my shirt on For You Wear, which is this one. There you go. And that's the QR code and the link for that one too. But yeah, I just it's been fun talking about NXT the way we have going. It's fun thinking of how it was before and how it is now, and that comparison that we did. But no, it's been fun talking about that. So yeah, I won't be here, but still it'll be on my Twitch and YouTube anyway. So if anybody wants to still watch it later, you're more than welcome to. And yeah, we'll see who answers the bat signal for Ed to have a co-host, because I won't be here.
I can do it by myself. I'm capable.
Sure.
Anyways, you can find me on Twitter at edfries12584. You can find me on the Twitch at twitch.tv/edfries2002. I will be having gaming content on that in the next month or so, as WWE 2K24 is coming in March. So if nothing else, I will be doing gaming streams with 2K24. So please make sure to watch out for that Twitch. It is going to be active once 2K24 comes out. I am looking into doing universe mode content. I'm going to be doing some of my own GM mode content. I'm going to be doing some GM mode content with a friend of the channel at some point as well. That'll probably be a show that is taped and released after the fact because of time zones and things, but there's going to be stuff like that. This week, you can catch me tomorrow night as me and my friend Andre C go ahead and talk about all things Iron Man 2. As MCU Rebound returns again, Iron Man 2, we will also be getting Andre's thoughts, and me and Andre will talk for the first time about the Deadpool trailer that debuted during the Super Bowl, Deadpool and Wolverine, or Deadpool 3, however you want to refer to it. The new Deadpool movie in the MCU is coming, and it's going to be even better than I ever imagined. That trailer was fantastic. If you want my individual thoughts on that trailer, go to the Our Local Establishment YouTube channel. You can go ahead and find that video. It's in there under the Marvel Talk playlist. You can also find me this week on Thursday night. I'm pulling 4 nights of duty here.
Woo!
5 if you count helping out on PTO, because you got to give me 5 with Biggie Langston. But anyways, you can catch me on Honor Ramble this week, as I will be watching Ring of Honor this week and talking with our great friend, the Ring of Honor encyclopedia himself, Kyle Sparks, and I will be talking Honor Ramble. I am not going to be a permanent there. This is a one-time only deal, and unlike taking over, I promise, it'll be one night only. I won't end up taking Auntie Collins' place, I promise. Her place is safe. I'm just holding the seat warm for her this week. She will be back in a week from now. She'll be back. But I'm excited to talk about Honor Ramble. It's going to be fun. Show's got about 100 views over on YouTube. It's doing great there. If you can. If you haven't, go ahead and check it out there. Barry says, I have faith in you, Ed. I believe Ed, the brave little streamer that could. And Mike the Ref popping in. Thank you, Mike the Ref. No, you're not Ed. I think that's probably about me not being alone, or me not doing gaming content on my Twitch. I'm not sure. But I promise, I'm only going to do one night only of Ring of Honor. I may be a reoccurring guest, but I'm certainly not going to take over that show like I took over Taking Over. With that being said, though, I am Ed Fries. This is Astrid Pizarro. We have taken over, and I'm going to send you home with the new theme music for Talking Takeover so you can get an idea of that, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye. Oh, hold on. We got something. We got messages. You can't handle NXT on your own, Ed. Well, you know what then, Mike? Maybe you should come and keep me in check. Keep me in line. That would be fun. I'd be down for that. Good night, Barry. We're going to send you, like I said, we're going to send you home with some Talking Takeover music. Enjoy. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
I'm never gonna look back, 'cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts.